show, the Hall of Game podcast. My name is O'Shea Duke Jackson. Brother Gabe jumped on me. Yeah, brother, we got to do it, more than once a week, brother. So, so I said, okay. So I've been telling him the last month that we would, I'll be more dedicated to trying to bring more brothers onto the show. I talked to, hold on. Wait, what happened? What happened? I'm echoing in the back. I talked to D. Darrell, the licensed psychotherapist, if he was going to come on. But nonetheless, we have a very talented cast today. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the topic. Black men who want to be successful must get rid of dead weight. And Andre Hatchett is trying to get in here, the white man holding the back. Let me go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. We'll start from Brother Wrench Turner and go down the line, and we'll introduce today's show. Go ahead, Brother Wrench.
All right, what's good, everybody? So, name is Wrench Turner. My background is grew up in a rough environment here in Dallas, Texas. Eventually ran into a circle of friends. One in particular kind of opened my eyes up to how to move up in the corporate world. So work for a pretty big brand in manufacturing management. And my specialty is growing people. More specifically, if you look at my team, you're going to see possibly 20 brothers. So that's pretty much my wheelhouse. Background in Lean Six Sigma and a background in automotive and manufacturing maintenance. So looking forward to the topic, and this is something that hits pretty close to home. So I got my Crisco and I got my seasoning salt. Shit, let's cook.
I know you got about 14 pages of notes. Yeah, and brother, on this outline, so let's go to Brother Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Go ahead, brother. Introduce yourself.
Hey, O'Shea, appreciate the invite to the Hall of Game. The Hall of Game, one more again. You see what I'm saying? And salute to the panel and salute to everybody that's down into the chat. For those that do not know me, I go by MTR or Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. My background, I'm from New York originally. Went to undergrad at Penn State, did a couple of years at a Fortune 100 bank. Then went and got my MBA, and now I'm at another Fortune 100. Started off doing consulting, internal consulting, and then now I am a digital product manager. So I've been doing that for about 2.5 years or so. Anyway, I got my own YouTube channel. We talk about a wide variety of topics, not really so much as this Hall of Game stuff, but really focusing on the topic of what this is today. This one, this dead weight or this echo topic is something that reigns really, really true in my life and in my history. So I can't wait to get in there today. Salute to everybody.
All right, and shout out to my brother Rob Parks. I watch his vids, so Rob Parks is my brother, man. I love me some Rob Parks, man. I got to get my brother on tomorrow on my birthday, so I got to get him on here because he crazy. Rob is crazy. So let's go to Brother Sub-Zero, man. Go ahead, Brother Sub.
Hey guys, what's going on? Sub-Zero 3639. I run Lifting the Veil IT Academy. We train students in database development and business intelligence. Have a YouTube channel, currently under suspension, but I'll be off suspension next week. Glad to be here with all the sharp brothers. I've been doing this IT thing for about.
Hold on, brother Andre, you're echoing. I muted him. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I've been doing this IT thing for about 10 years. Got into it on just a happenstance. Well, it wasn't a happenstance. My brother worked for Oracle during the .com craze. So I've kind of always knew about it. I just jumped in it after the housing bubble. So here I am.
All right. Shout out to my brother Kev Mack. Good to see Kev in there, boy. I love to give Kev Mack on here again. Pretty Sassy Libra, ain't seen you. I guess you must have been in quarantine for the coronavirus. I ain't seen you in 30 years. All right, brother Gabe. Go ahead, brother Gabe. Talk to the people, brother.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Gabe A here on YouTube. But also, I mean, as O'Shea has been pushing me more and more, I've been I actually put up something new for my podcast. So in my podcast is ICS_Gabe, ICS standing for Industrial Control System. So I'm gonna probably plug that at the end, but background in automotive and electrical engineering, and also with nuclear, transition into cybersecurity, and kind of have blended the two, where pretty much now I just protect, help organizations to protect themselves from those hackers, right? Those people that you see coming from China and India, or even national hackers internally. So I help organizations, B2B type of business, really help to kind of bolster up and boost up their cybersecurity program. So it's kind of my background, currently working on a master's. And yeah, man, I'm just here really trying to contribute. And just like everybody was saying, the topic is something that has really helped me go forward in my life, really cutting that fat off. And just like the other brothers were saying, yeah, I'm just ready to cook on this one. I am ready. So yeah,
All right.
thanks for having me.
Gabe, it's about time I came up with a good topic, huh, brother? So Sub
You
blessed
got
us
it.
last night. I finally did my part. Shit, you gonna be like, yeah, I've been carrying this black ass nigga. He ain't never coming up with shit.
Nah, not at all.
All right. Let me go to brother, and let me do this, guys. I would like you to subscribe to ICS Gabe. Okay, he's been working real hard to build up the content. I do want him to get monetized. So let's go ahead if we can subscribe to Gabe. I want to get him 100 subscribers on today's show. Subscribe and hit the bell on his channel, right? This is a really good brother. He's been creating all of this content for that you see. 80% comes from Gabe, okay? So we could at least get his numbers up on his YouTube channel. The legend himself, Brother Dre. What's going on, family?
What's going on, big time? Thanks for having me. Happy almost birthday. Mine's just passed. It was the 15th.
Oh man, I'm about to.
So shout out to the birthday.
I'm about to get you an
birthday
OnlyFans
crew. Send it over. I'm gonna use it. All right, so hope everyone's doing well. Enjoying Saturday night. Thanks for checking in. Andre Hatchett here, long-time entrepreneur, three-time author, and I have a couple of online academies. The most popular one is Notary Business School, where we show people how to become mobile notary publics. And we've had a lot of success since 2015, and it's rocking and rolling. And I'm honored to be here with these great brothers.
All right, thank you, brother Andre. And guys, like I said, I'm always honored. I mean, I'm just a nigga that be talking shit. Y'all know what my things is, but it's good to be in. I want to say all you 5 of you brothers, I'm big fans of you guys. I thank you for spending your time over here with me. I'm honored to be in the same company as you guys. Many of you are my personal mentors that I will look to. Gabe is even younger than me, but that's like a little big bro. Okay, so I want to tell you guys in front of everybody, I appreciate all of you brothers because you don't have to be here, right? And Antoine, let me know when you want to come on. I'll take myself off so you can come on and contribute. Thank you, brother Antoine. I hope you cook them steaks and come on here, bring your ass on. All right. Let me just ask this, right? Because we got brothers on the panel that have MBAs. We have brothers that are manufacturing managers. We have brothers that are successful entrepreneurs. We have engineers and a guy in professional school, all on the same panel. All of us come from.
We're black. I'm sorry.
Black. Yeah, we all black, right? This is the stuck-up educated nigga panel right now. Okay. All of us have had to overcome some sort of adversity to achieve whatever we have in life. But there is this idea of success guilt, and obviously trying to go to one place while trying to keep it real or being tied to certain people. And I want to know maybe how to deal with this. I'm gonna start with the scholar Rence Turner, because he has some notes. Brother Rence Turner, I know personally you've talked about this. A lot of black men go through this on their way to success. What's your take on this, brother?
Yes, sir. So shout out to the panel, right? Black men who want to be successful must get rid of dead weight. All right, so I got a lot of notes. I'm not going to run down through all of them here. Let it take the whole show. But on my first point, my first notes that I took, I put that you will be misunderstood, talked about, lied about, vilified, and if you're not careful, you can lose your life, right? So if you think about it, in the environments that we come from, just being honest and just being transparent. As you transition to a point where you begin to grow, and me and Gabe talked about this once before on another panel, but as you start to grow, a few things are going to change. So if you used to sag your pants, right, all of a sudden they come up to where they're on your navel. Whereas your shirt may not have been tucked in before, your shirt is now tucked in. Your mannerisms change, your speech changes, your habits change. So on Friday nights when everybody else is probably going out to the club, or if Sundays nights is ladies' night and everybody else is kind of going out kicking it, you are getting ready for the rest of the week, so you can't hang out, right? That's if you're being serious about it. As you begin to do that, people will start to, especially when they don't understand, they will begin to have a feeling of resentment, right? Oh, so you too good to hang out with us, or oh, you think you're better than we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
That then breeds or sows the seed for, all right, as you start to make these strides and you begin to try to build a better life for yourself, so you may want to drive something better, you may want to live in a better environment, right? You can then become a mark for the same people who used to be so-called in your corner, or the same people who are so happy for you as long as you're spending your time with them. Once you kind of break off and you start focusing on all of the things that you need to focus on in order to be successful, you can then become a lick, or like they say in the hood, hey, you're starting to look like a lick. You know what I mean?
Oh, can you say that one more time? Because these niggas missed that. Can you say it one more time, brother?
Yeah, so as you change and you start to accumulate things to better the quality of your life, you may start looking like a lick.
What is a lick to those who don't know what that is, brother?
So a lick, I know down here in the South, man, a lick is a mark or an easy come up, right? You have more than what I have. I haven't put in the work to get what you have. And it may be easy for me to get it, at the expense of your life, at the expense of your health. It may be easy for me to get it because I got a tool, I got a gun, right? And I'm just gonna go ahead and rob you. Because in their mind, they're gonna rationalize that you don't rock with me anyway. You know what I mean? You haven't been kicking it with me for the past 6 months, year and a half. Like, I don't rock with you like that no more anyway. So in their mind, that's how they rationalize taking something from somebody who has put in all of this work, years of work. That's how they rationalize making it okay to try to rob a brother.
Okay. Man, that's a powerful opening statement. Let's go to my brother Mediocre Tutorials.
Listen, sorry, I'm a little bit behind in the chat. So what up, everybody? Again, appreciate the time. And I appreciate the last comments. I think that for me, it frames it up in the perspective of, a dead weight that means you harm. But I also wanted to focus in on dead weights that may not necessarily mean you direct harm, like clear and present danger. Right. Because I think that the ones that mean you direct harm, those are the ones that are easiest to identify. Something that my pops always used to tell me is like, you never want to make yourself a mark. You never want to make yourself a target. One of the things that he used to tell me, like, I never forget, like, when I was coming up through high school, that's when like what's it called? Fast and Furious started to get popping. So all I wanted to do was get like a old school Jetta or like an old school Civic and put some rims on it, put like a spoiler on it, tint the windows. And I never forget that he told me, like, but listen, that's going to make you a target. And it's going to make you a target for the police, as well as going to make you the target of someone who wants to take that from you, or someone who has a crab in a barrel mindset or mentality to try to pull you down into their own destruction. But that's not the one that I feel like are most dangerous to us. And this could be Black men or just men in general. I feel like the ones that are most dangerous to the ones is the ones that act as if they're your friends. And, I think it has to be, you have to be, as a man, as a Black man, you have to be incredibly intentional about who you keep in your space. You have to be incredibly intentional about the energy to the left and the right of you. And you have to go through a coming to terms to understand who you are, right? And then also through that, circumventing the slightly negative to really negative energy in and around you. And I feel as though as a man, as a Black man, once you start to take stock of all of the energy, what can actually happen is you might find as a component of your personality that is the dead weight, right? You may also find that within yourself, right? So there's a component of accountability, right? In identifying within you, because you may be that slightly toxic person. you know, some of the ones that I really quickly wanted to talk on, and I want to get the other brothers' opinion as well. Some of the ones I really want to talk about is those that try to minimalize things, right? Like these are the personality types where, and these could be your friends, right? As soon as you mention something to them, like an accomplishment or something like that, like we could take for an example, the rim one that I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. Like, let's say I was to get the rims, and then that one friend is like, oh, those are nice. But like, did you see the other ones that, you know, that are coming out next year? Or they're like, no, those are nice on your car, but those will give me better like on an Infinity. You see what I'm saying? Like that type of energy is the energy that you have to be really keen in identifying, because those are dead weight as well. Those are the energy suckers within your life that after a while are going to start to impede your progress or start to hamstring your flow. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to take too much of the time. We can circle back around and I can keep on hitting on it, but I want to give some of the other brothers some of their perspective as well.
Man, the first two, man, I listen, that right there could have saved the whole entire city of Sacramento. Let's go to brother Sub-Zero. Thank you, brother Terrence and brother Jason, brother Grown, man. I shot them out, brother Jason. Thank you again. Go ahead, brother Sub-Zero.
Yeah, man, these brothers are hard to follow.
Wait, hold on. Y'all see that Cody got on them glasses, right? That boy, he's sharp, ain't he? I mean, that boy is smooth. Brother Sub-Zero. I just want to say, look, first of all, look at my motherfucking jacket and my glasses, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, anyway, the thing is, man, like, I guess I'm gonna just talk about my life experiences. I was owner of a comedy club. I was the third Black-owned comedy club in the country. At the time, I don't know what's going on now, but back in 2009, there were only 3. And I remember I had a comedy club, and I remember people that worked there, some of them that I would call friends. I had a partner, and me and him fell out. We kept arguing. We weren't making any money. And so I was about to shut it down. I told him to buy me out. I said, man, just buy me out, because I thought he wanted it. He was an ex, convict. So he was like, basically he was upset, felt like I tricked him or whatever. But that's not the heart of the story. The heart of the story was I distinctively remember, lying in bed, not able to sleep, hurt because I gave all I had in that business and it failed, and having to pull my self-esteem back together, because it was probably was in clinically depressed. And I remember people laughing. I remember people, I would go out, be at the store and see people, and people who I thought was friends, people who I would let in for free, people who I would give free drinks to, would laugh. I remember I wound up waiting on tables. I'm gonna tell my testimony, right? I was waiting on tables because I was broke, I didn't have any money, and I remember getting laughed at by a guy who I considered a friend. He saw me, stopped, looked at me, and laughed. Like, and then he said, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
I never forgot that. My thing is, man, that was probably one of the darkest moments in my life. Not the darkest, but one of the darkest moments in my life, when I was depressed and bro, I'm gonna admit I was crying. I was at bed. I was in bed at night just crying myself to sleep, depressed, because I was embarrassed. A lot of people in the city were talking about me. A lot of people that I thought were friends was, stabbed me in the back. So when it came to dead weight, that gave me thick skin. So when I lose people, there's a gospel song. What's the guy? I think it's John. God favored me. He says, "No longer do I cry when fake friends say goodbye." And I just, that part of the song I feel, because that's where I was at that point. I was down, man. And when you have been down and been the laugh and the brunt of everybody's joke and people laughing at you and you feel humiliated. It gives you a whole different outlook on friends. People come, people go. Yeah, I've kind of got that mentality now. And so I was able to get there by being embarrassed. God had to take me down to show me, because I was the guy that always, when he said, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen," this guy knew I would employ 4 and 5 brothers. I was always like I am now, in a sense. I get money, I'm looking out for other brothers. Right. So I would employ 4 or 5 brothers who had no skills, but I would teach them certain things about real estate and do things. And this brother saw that and was telling me, "Man, that's good what you're doing," but then you see me and you laughing. So I never forgot that. That's me, man. I've been there.
Okay, man, that's powerful, man. Brother Gabe, Mr.
Yeah,
Hey, brother, you got to stop beefing so we can do these shows, brother. That's Brother Gabe. That's Brother Gabe. Brother, I'm praying for you, brother. Brother Gabe, go ahead and drop some knowledge on the family.
It was good. Hey, again, it's very difficult to follow up so much good game that all the brothers are giving, but I do want to attack this from a little bit of a different angle, because I think that yes, people, circumstances, and situations are things that can be considered dead weight, but I do also believe that mindsets can also be considered dead weight for successful brothers. And let me explain it. I think that a lot of times when we see Black statistics or Black numbers or numbers that I guess reflect a negative perception of Black people, and I'm not saying that these statistics and these numbers aren't true, but I think that we look at these numbers and then we look at our lives and then we say, it's not looking good for Black people, and or can even internalize that idea and think that, hey, I can only be as good as what the averages of these numbers are saying. Hopefully you're following me here. And let me give experience from this, because I think that a lot of times I look at numbers, I look at statistics as it concerns the Black community, but I don't internalize that to say, I'm just going to meet that average or that bare minimum, because really those numbers, those averages are pretty much taking whoever's the bottom of the bottom and whoever's the top of the top within our community. And it adds those all together and divides it by how many pieces or how many items it's doing. So it comes to an average somewhere in the middle. When I look at averages as it concerns the mentality, I look at beating those averages. And it's not just because I'm just so, I guess, positive or thinking that I can just mentally surpass any of my situations. It's because I've been beating averages my whole life. I mean, just coming out of Detroit public schools, being able to graduate. At the time I graduated, we were at somewhere around a 55, 60% of Black males not even graduating from high school. I graduated from that. Not only that, I came out with internship and work experience even before I was able to enter the job field. I beat those numbers and beat those statistics. I was able to get a job as soon as I came out of college. I got married. Black males get married to Black women. That's another thing, right? I beat that average. So it's like when I see these averages and these things, I don't look at them as something that, hey, I'm just going to fall somewhere in the middle. I'm going to be, or hopefully I get to the average, but rather it's more of how can I surpass those averages? And I think that when we look at ourselves and compare our lives to the averages of these statistics about the Black community, that can be dead weight and it can restrict us from going beyond that. So not only can dead weight be people or circumstances and situations, but it can also be mindsets. When you look at a number, when you look at a statistics, when you look at an average, look at yourself beyond that. Don't let that limit you. So I think that is also a piece of dead weight that we can shed off in order to get to where we desire to get, because I've experienced it. I'm an average breaker, and I think that you brothers can be too.
Wow. Man, I hate to go last. Shit, I need to think of something. Hold on, let me call my cousin. Thank you, Brother Mediocre. I'm sorry, all the chat. Brother Dre. Now, don't you steal what I'm about to say. I'm gonna kick you off the show. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, man, great stuff, guys. Great stuff. We have dropped the dead weight because the line for Black men to go to jail is really close. It's like right there. One of my passions outside of business and entrepreneurship at Black men is law, especially with keeping Black men out of the justice system. So I spent a lot of time studying the law, even holding free workshops. Oh, if anyone's a teacher or a principal, I want to bring my lawyer friends into your classroom. It'd be free of charge. I'll pay the lawyer, but I want to do that. Hit me up. It's such a thin line. You have to avoid people. You literally have to avoid people, or else it can cause you to go to jail. And someone on here said it the other day. It might have been Sub-Zero or another brother. We don't make good criminals. I'm watching this show on Death Row all weekend, right? We don't even know not to talk to the police. We're confessing to crimes we did. We didn't do it. Of course, please convert.
I mean, we turn it into music, don't we? It's
Yeah.
songs about our.
We are, yo, Gabe, we aren't even studying, okay, if we did the crime or didn't do the crime, how to stay out of jail enough. So it's literally a matter of life and death for us. So now with that comes separation. The common slogans that we're going to hear to shame us. Oh, you're too good for your cousin. Well, shit, you might be too good for your fucking cousin. All right, you might be too good for your cousin. If you can avoid getting involved in the criminal justice system between 16 and 24, you're probably never going to go in there. Those are the key ages between 16 and 24. If you can avoid it, then you're probably never going to go in there. We have to be so open. But those are the fun times. Those are the carefree times. Those are the cool dudes. We have to set our own norms and standards for that just to save our friggin' lives from the friggin' jail. And number two, dead weight holds you down because a lot of times you don't know it's dead weight. It's the normal. Dead weight can hold you back because it's been normalized. A lot of us, we've been pushed on this whole subconscious, subservient way of living, jacked up, and anything above that subpar way of living is considered being an elitist. It's just not being subpar. So we've normalized that way a lot of times because that's who we've surrounded ourselves with. So we have to go through the fire in which it takes in the critique and the criticism, in which it takes to be considered a high level achieving Black man. So that way got to go for numerous reasons. I'll leave it at those two for now.
Okay. You know, brother Andre is always on the road. He even got his coronavirus mask on. He just traveling. Fuck it. It's so hard. Like, the thing is, when I have smart Negroes on my panels and shit, one of the things I hate is that you niggas be taking about what the fuck I want to say, and that's what frustrates me and shit. I'm like, I forgot these niggas are smart, so it's not like, you know, I mean, so let me just say this, because, you know, Rich, he took like 80% of what I was gonna say. You know, undergrad, I did average. Wasn't great, but I had an aspiration to go to professional school. And at the time, I had an interview at Sullivan College of Pharmacy in Louisville. I went there, then I went to California Nurse. Any situation, I didn't get in. So one of the things, if you can't get into post health sciences, what you do is you go to a medical post back, and this is something you can do part-time or full-time. And, you know, this is something that you improve your GPA type of situations, and you can matriculate into hopefully, you know, medical school, pharmacy school, or dentistry school. And the nearest program that I had at this point was the UC Berkeley postbac at the time, Dr. Patrick Brown, who was a PhD at the University of Virginia, which is if anybody knows about UVA, that's actually a very good public school. It's not too far from being up there with the UCLAs and the UC Berkeleys. University of Virginia is the truth. And he came down to run this program in his retirement, and he had a man-to-man conversation. I drove all the way down. He said, "Son, do you want to really come all the way out here from Sacramento? That you're the only Black person in this program." I said, "Yes." He says, "Okay, I'm gonna give you the chance," and worked out pretty well. Now, I'm making this long story because when I told my mother about what I had to do to go to the program, she was very concerned, and the concern was, you're going to be traveling to the East Bay twice a week, and you're working 50 hours a week. I don't want you to go. Is there any way you can do it here? Now, what we've been talking about as far as dead weight, we've been talking about people who hating on you, are a person that is jealous. But a lot of times we don't even think about the person. What about the person that genuinely cares about you, and they are dead weight for another reason? You know, like your mom and your girlfriend and your wife, they really want the best for you. But the problem is the way that you're going about it, they disagree with. Or the way that you're going about it is too hard. And I want to talk about this. a lot of times we have dead weight from people that really love us and that really care about us and that really want the best from us. But the situation is this: they have no understanding of how this works. And I'm going to tell you this, and you know, we're black men here, and it clicked for me a little bit later. Your father will probably more understand, like, you know, Rich Turner, you working like 8 to 7 and you're going to school from 8 to 12 or something like that, and you got to get up and work and say, okay, a man understands that. A lot of brothers, unfortunately, they're raised around a lot of women or their girlfriend or somebody like that, and they, in this case, these people really do care about you. They just don't understand. When you go to professional school or MBA programs and stuff like that, if your family don't know anything about what it takes to get there and the lack of commitment, they're not going to understand. So because they don't understand, they become dead weight. It's not that they hate you. They just don't understand. And a lot of times as black men, what we find ourselves doing, we take advice from people that don't understand. They just don't know. They can't know because they've never been through this.
Yes.
They've never been through engineering school. They've never been through MBA school. They don't know. All they know is, I love you. I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to be tired. I'm worried about your health. And then, but as a man, especially when you're black, unfortunately, you're going to have to take a role that a lot of times is hard, because you might be like Rich Turner, where you get yourself a situation where, or me, you know, because right now we have, and I know I'm being long-winded, but let me put this point. Gabe was a traditional college student, and a mediocre was traditional. Me and Rich Turner and maybe Sub, we were like, I would consider non-traditional. I think Sub was more traditional than non-traditional. Me and Rich Turner did some fucking up, and so we playing catch up now. And if you are a person that understands my voice and you playing catch up and you explain what you got to do, nobody gonna understand. Even your friends, they're not gonna understand it. They can't, because they've never been there. So a lot of times dead weight come from cutting off people that really want us to make it, but they still holding us back. And motherfuckers is holding you back, whether they love you or not. They are dead weight, just like they say. There is no there is no such thing as there's good debt and bad debt. At the end of the day, it's all debt. So whether it's good debt or bad, it's still good. So a lot of times, brothers need to understand that the people that love you don't understand. And that's the hardest, because it's easy to get away from a motherfucker that's hating on you. It's easy to get away from it because you actually use that for energy. Well, fuck y'all. I'm gonna make sure I really kill it, and you can overcome it. What if it's your mama though? What if it's your grandma?
Yeah.
What if it's your wife? You got kids with her. Then what?
That's the truth.
So we got to look at
That's
a lot of times
truth.
dead weight come from there. Yes, sir. That's all I had to say.
Family. Let me you mind if I jump on that, because my battery about to die.
Yeah, go ahead, Sub. Hold on. Let's Sub build on that. Go ahead, Sub.
Yeah, my battery is like a little bit. Let me say this. I agree with you. I think family members definitely can be dead weight. I've seen that with friends. I have. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. Hard-headed. One of the biggest things I find about successful people, they're hard-headed. They see things one way, and they fixate on it, and they don't. It's like a pit bull. They just will not let it go. And they don't believe in being realistic. They don't. That's the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity, right? So I hear it, but I'm not gonna let a woman or mom, nobody's ever. I played basketball. I modeled in New York. Whatever I wanted to do, I've done. Flipped houses, comedy club. I've done it all. Whatever I felt like doing, I do. Nobody ever stopped. Only somebody stopped me is the good Lord. That's it. But I agree with you. I've seen people that don't have the same relationship with their family. I mean, I'm not, and I think there's part of me that's kind of flawed in that I'm almost too much like that. But I just think there's a balance with that, and you do have to kind of. I think it's good to listen to family, because they especially somebody older like your mom. But family members a lot of times will hold you back if they don't know something. My mom wanted to be in nursing. Obviously, I'm not. I made my mind up in what I wanted to do, and I did it. But most people that I know, millionaires and people I studied throughout history that were successful, that's how they did it. They were hard-headed. You have to be.
Yeah, most times, not all the time, of course, most times, family and childhood friends are the worst people to take advice from because they want you to be safe. Your parents, most times, Black parents do not want their kids to be great. They want them to be safe.
Say it again.
Because greatness is, most times, Black parents want their kids to be safe, not great. And they'll tell you in their thought process and what the kids, would you want your kid to be first president of the United States? No, too much scrutiny. They're gonna try to kill him. Yada yada yada. You want your kid to own a big time business? No. He'll be looked at by too many people and white people, slavery. Yeah. They don't want you to be great. They want you to be average and fit in. So we have to talk to people who are great and study. I'm a big reader and audiobook listener because you got to really fight yourself, your own bullshit, and you got to fight the people around you. If your family pushes you to be great, that's a wonderful thing. But unfortunately, it's not popular enough because average is good enough and it's safe. We want our kids to have average careers that are safe. We don't want them to be great most of the time. It takes a lot to get there.
No, you're right. You're right. Did he get stuck? Okay. You done, Brother Andre? Okay. I think he's trying to say something. Okay. White man holding it in the back. I wondered if anybody wanted to weigh in any last parts on this. I want to switch to, I think, Brother Wrench. Who wants to weigh in on the last part of this? Somebody's doing an introduction, and I want to actually get into something that's probably dating, marriage. How do you know if the significant other's holding you back? Stuff like that. But anybody want to fill in on this last topic right here before we go into that part? And then
I did want to say something. This is Gabe. I don't know if you. Yeah. So kind of on the same subject as it concerns people who love you, that hold you back. I mean, it's interesting because it always happens with me. I feel like the times in which I desire to do something are the times in which I've received the most pushback from people that were closest to me. A couple of years ago, I think 2017, I think they have these every 2 to 3 years. They, like, NASA has their astronaut training program, candidacy program, and with a background or a bachelor's degree in engineering or science or even a master's, they accept those applications. But there was a time I was having a conversation with a young lady, and kind of a little bit about me. I fly probably, let's see, for work, I'm on the road for probably about 50 to 60% of the year. So I'm in a plane pretty much consistently, right? But I don't like flying. I don't like flying at all. I don't like the feeling. I don't like being in a small closed area. I just don't like it. But I've always wanted to be an astronaut. I actually went to Macy Jemison Academy. She was the first Black female to go into to space. I went to that elementary school, so I've always applied. I've continually applied. So I applied in 2017, and I actually received some pushback saying, how you gonna apply for the NASA for the astronaut training program if you don't like flying? And I'm like, well, I am. I'm gonna overcome it. Right. And I think that's the thing, right? No matter what those circumstances are, no matter what the pushback I received, this was coming from somebody who I was very close with. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you're saying, or it doesn't matter what the pushback is about that. I'm going to still go forward with my pursuit of this degree or this career path. So absolutely 100% agree there that a lot of times it comes from those people who are the closest to you. But those are the times where I find I almost see it as a challenge. So I absolutely agree with that point, O'Shea.
Okay. Anybody else wants to weigh in over?
This is
shout out to our brother 757. He's over in Germany, but he's over there stuck, man. Pray for the brother. White man holding him back. What you want to weigh in on, brother Mediocre?
Yeah. I just want a couple of quick words. And salute to everybody that's in the chat. Yo, you guys are cooking right now. You guys are doing a fantastic job. One of the things that I took out of what everyone was saying is that, essentially, there's tangibles intangibles that we all have to consider when we consider this dead weight thing, right? Like the tangibles of being like the people in your life, and they could be, you know, the hood stars on the block or the OGs on the block, and you trying to get outside of that. And it could be your family, or it could be friends that really should be acquaintances. But then also the intangibles around the mindset, right? As Brother Gabe was saying earlier, you know, your own mindset. And something that I see a lot within the community of like the mindset of this victim, right? And kneeling in this victimhood and this victim mentality to the point where you don't think that you can see, that you can go beyond what the detractor said that you were not able to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of that can be, you know, given to you through institutions, right? Like, you know, something I say on my channel is like, you know, if you put a young kid in special ed and tell him that he's special ed his entire life, he will think of himself nothing more than special ed. He will never consider himself an honor roll student or a well-performing student. So he may be limiting his options via his mindset. So I just want to quickly just say kudos to all of the panel. You guys are rocking. And just one quick other component before we switch topics. One of the greatest lessons that I've had some mentors communicate this to me. As a man, your ability to say no, and to firmly say no, and to never waver when you have made a decision is one of the most important things, especially when you are providing guardrails to your mind and to your energy, right? And guardrails and not making sure that there's weights that are trying to pull you down is the ability, right, to say no emphatically, right, in a respectful way, but being able to do that in a way that protects yourself and your energy as you know, you go off and you try to accomplish your goals. So I wanted the chat to keep that in mind as well.
All right, thank you, Brother Kenny Contra for super chat. And shout out to people coming from Brother MTR's chat. Brother Wrench, did you want to weigh in any more on this topic, brother?
Yeah, man. Valid points across the board, man. I think that the brothers hit on, I mean, pretty much everything just came back full circle, right? When you talk about the mentality or the, you know, the underlying mentalities that can be dead weight, you know what I mean? So brothers really just brought it all the way back around full circle, talking about the tangibles and the stuff that you can actually see and physically touch, the people that may be haters, right? And then bringing it all the way back around to the mentalities or the habits or, you know, some of the things that may be within our own personalities that could be dead weight. So kudos to the brothers. And I mean, I'm turning the gas stove up just a little bit more, man. Let's cook. Okay,
I'm gonna start with you on this one, because, and shout out to Tangeray, always starting some shit in the chat. But let me, I want to talk about this. Now we do have Gabe has been married. Brother Dre's been married before. I've never been married. I don't think Rent Turner hasn't either. So I think this is going to be a good discussion here. A lot of brothers, I talked about it. My own personal brother missed out an opportunity to go to a college because he had a girlfriend and things like that. And the black manosphere tends to be divided amongst two ideologies. Some guys, which I would consider the minority, guys like Dr. Kenyon Meadows or Antoine Wade or Gabe, guys who are married and successful and work through these relationships because they have found somebody that is very similar to them in fashion and class. And then you have guys who are like, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to get married. But let's talk about this. Brother Wrench, and I will start with you.
Okay.
A lot of times you can have you know, how do you know that for when it comes to women? Because some brothers want to at least date cordially,
Right.
whatever it is, if it's for flings, if it's for something serious. Obviously, there are guys who look for serious relationships. How do you balance that and seeing if you can go further with a particular woman, or not? Because women can be dead weight, just like friends, relationships. How do you know when to get rid of somebody, when they're dead weight? And if you could talk about that from your own personal experience, a lot of brothers get caught up in these relationships and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So one of the things that that I thought about, man, when I got into the last relationship that just recently ended, right? one of the things that I thought about, and a lot of it came from listening to this show, a lot of it came from watching successful people who were in marriages or in relationships, and then kind of taking a little bit from all of those, right? And one of the mentalities that I have is, and I've told people at work, um, in a meeting, I said, now my mentality as it comes to what we do is I will climb up on top of one of these pieces of equipment, slit my own fucking throat, and bleed out on the floor before I fail at this. Now, that same mentality I brought into my life and my lifestyle. And I said, regardless of whatever woman I get with, I'm 100% sure about what I'm doing and where I'm going. And if you want to be with me, there's no room for negotiation. There's no room for any kind of. There's no wiggle room with regard to where I'm going. So
Okay.
if you want to get with me, it's going to be strictly 100% my program because I know where I'm going, and history has shown that I'm doing what I need to do to get there. Right? I will be, I will be ecstatic if you get on board and you add to what I'm doing and actually maybe even speed up that process, right? You may teach me some things. I may learn some things from you in the process, but I'm 100% sure about where I'm going. Unless you have that mentality, and you get with somebody and they don't have that mentality, before that relationship ends, you can be derailed. You understand? So you have to be 110% fully committed to where you're going or to what you're already doing, to where you're at, right? Even if you're sustaining where you are, and someone, you date someone, or someone wants to date you, or someone wants to be with you, they're gonna have to understand that no matter what I'm doing, where I'm going, and how I'm getting there is the most important thing. If my mentality is that I will slit my own throat and bleed out on the floor before I fail at work, what in the hell make you think that I won't slice the throat of this relationship? You understand? Meaning, I would throttle you to the point, and I heard Minister Farrakhan say this, I would throttle you so hard that you will have no choice but to do like mine did, which is, hell, I was at work and she left while I was at work. Didn't even have the heart to stand in front of me and say, hey, I'm giving up. But that's reassurance that say I am on the right track. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, and she is not in a position to come with me. You understand? So
Can I
that's
ask you a question, Brother Wrench?
yep.
How
Yes, sir.
did you get to that point, though? Because I mean,
Mm.
because some of us, I mean, wherever you are with that mentality, did you start there? How did you get there?
So I took certain pieces of it, right? I can remember the day after I graduated. Well, not the day after I graduated, the day that the next school year started. And I was sitting on the foot of my bed inside of my mom's house. And I was like, damn, what now? You know what I mean? Like, what now? I don't have to go to school. I've already graduated. What now? And then kind of, from trial and error, messing up and stuff. And finally, I came to the conclusion. I said, man, there's no way to cheat this system, man. These folks have built this country over the course of hundreds of years. It's tried and true. It's not perfect, but there's opportunity out here, and that opportunity only falls on the lap of the people who are willing to put in the work and who are willing to go full steam ahead and bulldoze and knock down walls, climb over barbed wire, chop heads when they need to get to where they need to be. That's when I really started to live that type of mentality, meaning, not in the outwardly, because I'm a big ass black dude with tattoos and a full beard. You understand? Not outwardly being an intimidating guy, but in my head, literally from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed at night, literally boiling on the inside, screaming on the inside, and trying to manifest that energy in a way that made sure that I was staying on course. And that's what really formed my mind in a way where no one or nothing was going to derail me as I really, really focused on being successful. And then it softened up a bit to where I started to open up to growing other brothers, because I was outrunning guys who had degrees, or outrunning guys who had been in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years, right? I mean, I was outrunning all of them, but it's because every day I was screaming on the inside, you know, don't stop, keep going. You know what I mean? Fuck everybody and everything else. Don't stop, keep going. You know, so so that's what you know, that's what really made me take off at the rate I did. You know.
Okay. Let me do this, and guys, I'm gonna read the super chats out in a minute. Thank you so much. Whatever, brother Chef Disaster. Let me go to brother Gabe, and then now, brother Gabe, you're actually married, which is unique, and well, we'll see you and Antoine come on here. So I would like to hear your perspective because you're a young man and you're married. So how are you able to do what you're doing? You have, you know, well,
I'm sorry, I lost your sound there. Oshay, you still there?
Okay, we said talk about your marriage. I believe your marriage and how your wife pushes you and makes you a better person and stuff.
So I think that's a really interesting thing because I think that in this Black manosphere space, there's a lot of critique about women, Black women more specifically, a lot of times about how they can be, I mean, sticking to the title, right? How they can be dead weight in a man's life, right? Financially, mentally, situations with children. I mean, it's all types of situations and circumstances that the Black manosphere speaks about women, and how they would kind of propel that idea that a lot of them just aren't worth it, or they will be dead weight as a man, as a Black man moves forward in life. But I want to offer an opinion. I mean, an experiential opinion is that that's not always the case with all, right? And I think that in my situation, right, there has been a level of vetting or a level of really getting to understand who that person is, and even how Rich was speaking, aligning our purposes and circumstances and goals to the point where there is we work and grow together, not only in our relationship but also in the business of our marriage. I think Antoine Wade brings that up. He's brought that up on multiple occasions as it concerns him and his wife. How his wife allows him to be able to be productive, like home is taken care of, children are taken care of, all the things that he can't take care of. She, his wife, helps to make his life better and allows him to be more productive in the world. And I believe that's also the situation that I have. So I do want to offer that perspective, that if you get someone in your life in a relationship of any circumstance, whether married or like a girlfriend, that she can be an asset in your life if you guys are all on the same page. So yeah, there is a perspective in the Black manosphere about women, but I do also want to provide that perspective too, is that your white women are not necessarily dead weight by default, but they can be an asset also if you guys are aligned. And that's kind of what I wanted to start off with, and just pass the mic to whoever else.
Yeah, I can pick it back up. It looks like we lost O'Shea, so we can keep it going while he's restarting his computer or what have you. You know, it's interesting because, you know, I feel like Wrench and Gabe gave two answers from a complete other end of the spectrum. And I would assume that people that follow me on my channel kind of know in the vein and that I'm probably going to attack this question. So I'm going to do it like this. You know, I think that as being a young Black, trying to be successful man, one of the largest dead weights in your life could be a woman, right? And I think that as you are developing, right, as you were trying to find out as you were trying to find out what are the things that you have to do to understand your why, you need to try to eliminate as many distractions as what you can. I feel like, you know, when you're becoming an adult, you know, like the differences in your life between when you're 30 to 40 or between your 20 to 30 or between your 10 to 20, it exponentially decreases the older that you get. And when you're in that nugget between like in your 20s, when you're really starting to come up to speed with like who you are as a person, there's a lot of things that are shifting, There's a lot of things that are changing. And one of those things can be the shiftiness of who you have as a significant other at that particular time. And there's a lot of things about human nature that I think just have to be established. But there's one thing that I know that it is true. As a man, we are valued by the ethic that we have, the work ethic that we have, the things that we can bring to the table, both from a tangible sense and then also from a provider, like a financial assets sense as well. And I know this fact here, and we can continue to debate on this, but when you consider the most valuable that a man is when he's in his life, it is not when he is 20 years old and trying to figure out his life and he has immaturity about him as a man and within his masculinity. At the same time, a young woman generally has the most amount of value within that same exact time. So as a man within that, I think that men should be focused first on developing their why, their meaning in life, and then solving the questions within life in order to ascertain the path that they have to follow in order to truly accomplish. And the funny thing is at the end of that journey, when you get to a degree of comfortability, that is when the best that you can possibly get in terms of a significant other then starts to come in and around you. You see what I'm saying? Looks like we have Brother O'Shea back. I don't want to hog the mic.
No. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Brother Dre, you want to build on that, brother?
Yeah. I'll be real quick. When should you get married? Should you get married? So I am big on marriage. I'm extremely against the opposite, though, being it having kids out of wedlock for my own personal life, not judging anybody else. So that would I've been divorced. That sucked. It's a thing on my record. But for me, having kids out of wedlock and having kids raised in different households, that would really, really bother me. So I got to have some form of structure in a long-term committed relationship when children are involved. And so I actually picked a good wife. I just needed to be better as a husband. And I actually spent I took about a year off from seriously dating, and I was studying myself and working on myself and seeing where I went wrong with certain things to see how I can do better next time around. And a lot of times marriages can work if both people have a similar value system. And if both people are, values is huge, man, because if your value system is similar, it allows you to have a baseline of how far fucked up shit will go, because there's something's going to happen that's not on point. But if your values are similar, it should contain yourselves to how far the jacked up stuff will go. And another thing that I learned from my marriage failing is both parties should have consistent counseling, even when things aren't bad, even when things seem to be good, right? Especially if you come from a household with parents who were divorced and or never married. So I only date women who come from two-parent households because I need you to have this. I need you to have this shit together. I can't be working on these skills for the both of us because my skills ain't there. I got to work on that. And 3, for most people I know who are successful by society standards, homeowner, degrees, a trade, bills being paid, a savings, the high majority of them are married and or are in a long-term relationship. So there's something to it. There's something to it that gives it. I agree with Brother Mediocre about the timing of it for a man. So he did anything the air quote correct way, the by the book way. He was able to get married younger. I wasn't in a financial position in my 20s to be able to provide for a household. Now in my later 30s, I can. I mastered self per se. I hit 6 figures. I accomplished a bunch of stuff on my own, and now I'm in a better position to be a better quality husband. So timing is very important, especially for old-fashioned traditional men.
You know, I wanted to add on that as
Go ahead,
well,
brother.
and also salute to Gabe, by the way, as well. And the thing is like maybe the conversation should be on, you know, what are the things that you got to do in order to find a good one, as he was describing, and he's married to right now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But like if I look at the numbers, right, and I'm a database guy, I like looking at numbers. If you look at the numbers and the outcomes, and you see that, you know, 50% end up in failure, and then of the 50% within a lifetime, how many of those are actually happy, right? So within all that, you know, and I got a couple of friends that are currently going through that, and they're currently going through the child support thing, and they're currently going through the alimony stuff. So I've had all this in the back of my mind and thinking through what is the potential dead weight if I was to open up my life as a young Black man and expose myself to these increasing risks, right? And conducting myself in a way, you know what I'm saying, having unprotected stuff. So like really having to really think through those motions, because all it takes is just that one single time. And then all of a sudden, 40% of my income can go towards a child, or, you know, half of my income might go towards a divorce at paying for my lawyers, her lawyers, right? So like, I think with any investment, you have to always consider the risk, right? Anyone, you can't name an investment that you cannot consider the risk. And when you consider the risk and what you have to put up potentially, you have to, first of all, if you're doing your 20s, you are brave because of all of the sliding things within people's personalities. Not even just that, but like, what do you even want to do with your life? You know, like if you just want to pack up and go to another side of the country to work your dream job, would you have the opportunity and availability to do that if you have a wife at home and then also kids to take care of? So I think like, I have really valued in my life the amount of flexibility that I have been afforded to be able to have. And I also, you know, because throughout, you know, past decades, there's been a like a picture painted as, well, if you check off this box, you go to school, right? You check off this box, you go to college. You check off this box, you find a nice girl, you go, you get the home, you get on bended knee, you live behind white picket fence. If you do all of these things, that equals happiness. And we can see in through the data that it doesn't work out that way at least 50% of the time. So my thing is like, salute to those that can figure it out and can do it happily within their marriage. Like I have a bunch of these folks that's on my channel, from folks that were divorced, from folks that were are fiancés, you know, to folks that, you know what I'm saying, are already married, to single people. Me, myself personally, I have been exclusively not in a relationship since undergrad. So it's been like 15-ish years or so. And, you know, I've been in like situationships and stuff like that. I've been having my fun. But for all the men in the chat, I feel as though, you know, you have to just weigh what works best for you. You see what I'm saying?
I think I absolutely agree with that. I mean, and I think it really starts with, what are your purposes? What are your motives as it concerns getting in a relationship? And really, what are you looking at getting out of it? I know, just like Dre said, I'm looking at bringing children to the world. I want to have children. Okay, so what's involved in that? I don't want to be a single father. I don't want to make somebody a single mother. So I think that those two things have really, those are some things that have contributed to saying, okay, I do want a marriage, somebody that is that we have the same motives and purposes, and we're going towards the same goal in life. And, you know, I absolutely agree with another one of your points, was speaking about that you need to really evaluate the risk before going into a thing as it concerns marriage. And really, so you were speaking about flexibility, right? I think a lot of people, I don't know what it is about like manosphere dudes, but they kind of look at women and they like, yeah, she gonna stay at home with my kids. She ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't gonna have no goals. And the thing about it is that what she gonna do is that she gonna do what I tell her to do. And that's gonna be her whole purpose of living. And a lot of dudes don't realize, I mean, yeah, she's a woman, but she also has her own goals and aspirations, or she can, right? Because you know, I think that a lot of times people put men in the box. I think they can put women in the box too. So my wife, she's a nurse, right? But she's always had aspirations to go further and become like a nurse anesthetist. So right now she's in the nursing program, a nurse anesthetist program, and she also has aspirations to get in her PhD and going towards that route too. So even speaking about flexibility, I mean, where can nurses work? Anywhere and everywhere. I mean, actually, when we had got married, she was in Dallas doing a travel nurse assignment, and then she moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I was working doing a contract. So one thing she has flexibility in her occupation, and she came over to where I was, and then we moved in together after we got married. I mean, so I don't think it's just a one size fits all type of thing. I think really it just starts from brothers looking at one, being prepared, right? Just as Dre was mentioning, I mean, having your career and your life, what I want to do in my life, this is what I want to do. And then bringing somebody else in there where you guys can build up things together rather than just looking at it and saying, well, most of them like this, so I ain't gonna rock with that at all. And I think somebody in the chat I don't know what this dude has said, or a woman, I'm not sure who this person is. They said, here's a statistic: married men have 100% chance of getting divorced, wrapped. I think they meant raped, but I mean, spelling it's not that great in this space. But and then he said single men have a 0% chance. So it's just like these crazy, outlandish ideas that everything is gonna go wrong because this woman's gonna take everything away from. I mean, it's just such an unbalanced perspective. And I think it does start from the place of saying, hey, what are my life goals? And do I want to get married? And what are the factors involved in that? And how do I reduce those factors as much as I possibly can? But at the end of the day, there is risk. I'm not negating that at all. And and also at the end of the day, I'm not saying everybody should be married either. So, hey, take that for what it is.
Yeah, and there's I think it's good to talk about the risk and the rewards. I think that's why these discussions are needed because a lot of times, especially in the sector of YouTube, you're usually hearing about the downsides, which is true, which is real, and we have to weigh out the risk versus rewards and what's worth it for us. So for me personally, the risk of me having a child out of wedlock raised in another man's home is really, I don't even want to think about it, right? Now, there is still a risk if I'm married, we can get divorced and that can still happen. But at least I did my part, take precautions to do my best to help avoid that. I'm okay with that as long as I've done my part. So, yeah.
So I'll add on to this, right? My belief is, so I'm someone who's not against marriage, right? I believe that, children deserve to be raised in a two-parent household, right? That's not the way that I did it because I was young and wild and didn't think seeing seeing a lot of my friends getting killed and stuff like that. But hindsight being 2020, that was the lifestyle that I put myself into, right? But I also believe that I think there's somebody for everybody, right? There's a reason why a guy can go rob a bank and have his girl be the getaway driver, right? She's right for him. Fuck it, they both criminals, right? Whereas there's a reason why Brother Gabe can go to college and really excel, and then meet a woman who's specifically for him. She has dreams and aspirations, and they kind of support each other and make that, and make it work, right? I think there's somebody for everybody. The beautiful thing about it is, and I've heard O'Shea talk about it in another show, is the more that you earn and the more that you begin to hang around like-minded people, right? You get exposed to women who are of a different ilk. You get exposed to women who understand that hard work piece, right? So I think that you really can't lean too hard to one side and say, forget all of them, they're no good. And then you can't really lean all the way to the other side and say 100%, dive in and go for it. I think it's just different strokes for different folks. So that's my take on it. But I firmly believe that as for myself and as for me, I'm 100% full steam ahead, focused on my goal. And in the event that a woman comes in and understands that, and she says, hey, what you're doing is working, but this would actually make it easier. And she has great ideas, right? And she understand what the bigger picture is. Then by all means, that'll work. I actually had a woman that was a friend of mine that was like that, and the only reason why I really couldn't marry her or commit to her because she wasn't a sister, right? This was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl who damn near worshiped the ground that I walked on, had good business ideas, went above and beyond to run errands for me and all kind of stuff. And we were just friends. But based on my belief, I believe that, you know, as I climb this ladder, I have to, I owe it to my own race to procreate with the sister that looks like me. So that's my spiel.
Yeah, I think that if and this it to me it goes back to questioning what is it that you want to do for your life. Just like Brother Gabe was saying earlier, there's some dudes that are just not cut out for marriage. I some of them are my friends. You see what I'm saying? And I see the way that they move, and I'm just like, yeah, bro, you're gonna be doing what you're doing right now for a very long time because it gives you clear joy. And never let your family, never let the culture, never let society tell you something that you don't want to do. Okay. If you are a man and you know you like to be free, right? And you don't want kids, right? Why are you getting married? Right? Because and if you make a significant more amount of money than the woman does, why? Because to me, what I can't name from a man's perspective, if that's your case, why you would want to get married. There seems like there's no benefit as a man to get married if that's your use case. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you want kids, you see what I'm saying? If the incomes, you know, are a little bit more even, you know, shout out to Adele and her situation. My man recently just came up like I think it was like $70 million or something like that. You see what I'm saying? It happens on both sides of the coin.
That was an absolute lick.
Yeah, it was an absolute lick. He did his damn thing. But anyway, what I'm just trying to say is like, you know, again, a lot of people feel as though they can just follow the path in life and sit themselves down inside into it, and just at the end of it, they're gonna come out happy. And it may not be happiness at the end of it. You have to define it for yourself as a dude. Don't let anyone else define it for you.
Agreed. And, you know, I think it really starts with, I mean, let's make this thing completely practical. I think I was talking in the chat to one of the dudes. I mean, start with what you desire if you want to get married. Again, it's not for everybody, but if you do want to get married, start with what you desire in a woman. Make a list, right? I'm not saying it's this whole woman list that, you know, the Steve Harvey, make a list of a man and pray on it. And nah, you don't got to do all that. You can be practical and say, hey, what are the occupations that I wanted my wife to have? Mine were either she was a teacher, a social worker, or a nurse. Those were the three occupations that I was focusing on as it concerns a wife. I mean, looking at what her personality type is, or what type of home environment she comes in. Did she come up in an environment where she had a father and the mother and father had a successful relationship? I mean, you can just really get very practical with an evaluation of a lady before you even consider marriage. And a lot of those things will help to mitigate those risks involved. I mean, let's just be completely honest. It is a smaller risk of a woman who's come up in a mother-father household that has had a successful marriage, for her to be married to you and that to be successful. It's a lower risk for you guys to get divorced than for a woman who come up in a very damaged and a very bad life situation. I mean, right there, just that one factor, that one variable can really help to reduce your risk of having a bad relationship and divorce. I mean, and then you can just add on to this particular list to help to mitigate your risk. I mean, what type of culture do you want it to come from? Some dudes want to go international with it. Okay, that's cool. What are the risks and the ideas associated with that? So you don't have to make it a one size fits all. It's not a Scully marriage type of thing. It's not a one size fits all thing. You can really get granular with your evaluation before even going down the road of considering marriage. So let's be more balanced in this conversation. Let's make more sense and be more practical with your attack on marriage. Because you can attack it and be like, yo, this ain't for me. And that's cool. And nobody is mad at you about it. Or you can attack and be like, you know what? I think I can make this thing work from the majority or from the ladies that I have a selection from. And I've seen these things. And so, you know, you can really get practical with it. So let's be more balanced is my only point.
Also, a good thing to look at is her grandparents. So the likelihood of a marriage working is if her parents are married and her grandparents were married. That's a big deal as well. That's a huge deal, which we don't look at enough. I'd like to ask you guys this question. If you guys can give examples of how you separated from dead weight. It could be
That's a good
friends,
question. Yeah.
a girlfriend, parents, childhood friends, whatever have you. Can any of you guys give an example or two of who you separated from and how you did it?
Yeah, I'm sure all of us can go. I guess I could kick it off. One of the ones that when I originally saw the email that came across, one of the ones that immediately jumped out in my mind, like I'll never forget it. Like, you know, this is back when I was at Penn State, and you know, most of my friends were from New York, and we were like the New York kids that were in Pennsylvania, so we were kind of known for, you know, bringing that energy. You see what I'm saying? And I'll never forget it. Like we had a particular friend, and I'll just call him D. Okay, and D wasn't at the school, but D just lived in the area. Incredibly long story short, like D, we can't, you know, was one of our best friends. And I want to say, like, originally he's from. Truth be told, I don't even know where he was from, to be honest. Like, Lord knows, you know, where exactly he was from. But he was saying that he was from Cali. He was a blood in Cali, and then he was like on the run. And then like in this, you know, if you guys are familiar with Penn State, you saw him. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But he was cool.
A lot going on there.
He was super cool. So he was in and around us, you know, and he was actually the only one that had a car. You know, he had like this rusted Ford Taurus, and I mean, I'm telling you, like the power steering wasn't working. You know, so like if you ever been in a car and the power steering's not working, like you would actually feel the weight of the car as you're turning it. So he had the hoopty, but he had a car. You see what I'm saying? So like, and then D is also the first time that I ever picked up a ratchet. You see it, so because we was in school and he had one, so you know, he let me play with it, and it was something like, you know, far too often we you know, talk about the fast life in a sense that you know, it's just the nature that you grow up in, and it, you know, it can happen to you and you find yourself all engulfed. But you see what I'm saying? But I found myself in a college environment, and I had this extra energy around me that even at that time was promoting me to do things that I probably would never do normally or naturally. I felt that I was getting caught up into it.
You're from Brooklyn, mediocre?
What's up, bro?
Are you from Brooklyn?
No. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from New York. I'm from Long Island, New York originally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But anyway, so just long story short, I disembarked, you know, during that that friendship that I had with him, because there was a situation that happened, and I was just like, all right, enough's enough. And the way that I did it is I just had to say no, like just like I was you know, talking about earlier. You know, after a while, you know, he would hit me up like, yo, let's go do this, that, and the third. And after a while, I just had to say no. I just had to man up and just say, like, listen, I can't do this today. Not in a passive aggressive way, not in a no, I can't do this tonight. Let's go do it tomorrow. And then don't pick up the phone call tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? But like to do it in a way where he knew kind of what it was and how I was trying to excel past this dead weight. And the thing is like, no matter how much that I tried to communicate with him about doing things in his life to improve the trajectory that he was on, like he just wasn't built that way. It's just not how he absorbed information. And after a while, I just had to take with what that was and just say, well, I got to just move beyond that. You see what I'm saying? So for to me, as I think about the title of this dead weight, I think towards the concept of just saying no after a while in order to protect your energy.
So I'll chime in. I'll chime in and answer that question that Brother Dre just asked too. So how did you get rid of dead weight? Right. One of the amazing things about once you finally figure out where you want to go and you commit to it is it takes up a lot of your time. Right. So in the process of really trying to grow and really growing. Right, trying to become good at what we do. People who aren't on the same page as you eventually fall off on their own a lot of times. Right, I don't think any of us have any kind of friends who aren't successful, who have hounded you over the last couple of years, just trying to hang out with you every day. Eventually, those folks will kind of break off and find some like-minded people who would enjoy the fuckery, right? So for me, it was just a matter of fully committing to what I'm supposed to be doing. One of the things I also did was I moved far out. So I'm from Dallas. Dallas is a pretty big city. I stay out in a rural area right now. One of my homeboys came to visit me a couple of months back, and he was like, "Damn, man, shit, you stay far as hell, man. I know the law's hot out here." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, hot as hell, as they should be, right?" So that's kind of what happened in my situation. Another beautiful thing about it is, as they see you growing, you may have a situation where they want to change their life and they're legitimately sincere about it, and they just really need somebody to kind of have that conversation with them, right? And in my case, my closest homeboy, a lot of us did a bunch of running around and doing a bunch of silly stuff when we were younger. Actually works on my team as one of the leaders on one of my teams. But we've known each other long enough to know, number one, back then we already knew that we were kind of you know we were too sharp to be doing the stuff that we were doing. I know his family. I know his kids, and I know from conversations we've had that both of us were trying to figure it out. I just so happened to kind of figure it out first, shared that knowledge with him. Um, he's hit the ground running, and I'm actually getting ready to promote him to another position here within the next couple of weeks. So most of the people who aren't like-minded and who aren't really kind of dealing with the same thing or putting in the same amount of work, they'll drop off on their own, man. Because you're feeding your own success. You're not feeding their fuckery, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You're spending so much time really watering your own success that you don't have time to do anything but that, or deal with like-minded people who may help you get a bigger jug to water your success, versus not worrying about headed in the right way. You're trying to have fun. You know what I mean? So it's just oil and water. You know what I mean? The ones who aren't headed the same way, headed in the same direction as you, they're going to eventually fall off. And the cool thing about it is, the ones who really love you, when they do see you, there'll be no love lost. I got a homeboy that I probably talk to, man, 3 times a year. And when I talk to him, it's like it's like we haven't even, it's like we've talked every day, right? We just pick up where we last left off. So that's the cool thing about it, man. It's the ones who love you, man, and the ones who really, really rock with you. They're gonna rock with you regardless. Even if the lifestyles are different, they'll say, you know what, man, I can respect what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm kind of over here doing this, and I would never, expose you to any of that, man, because I know all the work you put in, but in the event we run into each other, or in the event we end up at the same place, or we end up at the same birthday party or something, it's all love. Y'all gonna chop it up, and everything is gonna be good. And then you go your direction, they go theirs, and the respect is mutual. And that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. Kind of adding in on that, man. It's so funny because you would think a lot of times that dead weight that you got to cut off are like dudes who you grew up with that kind of own some opposite stuff, but like kind of doing some illegal activity. But this is actually a brother that I actually went to college with, and we went to college together. We got our engineering degrees. He went to chemical engineering, and but we were different, but on a similar path. And let me explain this. He's the type to always try to cut corners. He the type to always try to do something funny, finicky that can kind of wind him up. Like, it's like if he did something, he would try to cut a corner where if he cut it too hard, there was a lot of bad there were a lot of bad results. But if he cut it just right, he wound up on top. Like, I remember one time, let me tell you one thing he used to do in college. Let me tell you about this guy. This guy used
I think
to.
we all know somebody like that. That's why we laugh.
I'm sorry, say that again, Jay. I didn't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry, I
We
didn't
all
hear
know
you.
somebody like that. That's wrong with that, I think.
Always. One of his schemes in college, because so in school, like what would happen is that I don't know if y'all ever tried to buy and resell like engineering books. So engineering books are like super duper expensive. So what happened at the end of the semester? If you took your books back to the like the book library, you can sell them back to the library for maybe half, or even a lot of times more than half of the original price of the book. So let me tell you what this dude did, because a lot of times in dorms, people would leave their door open. It was a very open place. And like this dude used to go from room to room and just walk in and start having conversations with people. But he up here trying to sneak people books. And then he'd go to the bookstore. He'd sell them back for the bread. And then it's like, I'm like, man, like, yeah, you can get money like that, but why are you taking that risk? Like, what are you doing? So that's just, long story short, that's the type of guy this is, right? And he hasn't changed. He has not changed. One of his most recent scams, and this is where I had to cut him off. I'm like, yo, you dead weight. You about to try to get me involved in something illegal. This dude, I don't know if y'all know how this works, but if you're working for a company, they have tuition reimbursement.
Yep.
So he was going for his he actually got 2 masters from this company. He got an MBA and he got a master's in chemical engineering from this company. But as a clause in them paying back your tuition for these classes, you have to stay with the organization for a certain number of years, certain period of time. What this brother did is that this brother like, oh, I got this offer somewhere else. I'm out. Like, I'm out. And not only was he out, he didn't even pay back. He didn't pay back the organization. Man. So the organization, very large organization, they actually hired a law firm in order to track him down and to sue him and everything. So he's ducking a law firm from a large corporation, Fortune 500 corporation, in order for, and my thing is that I'm like, dog, why don't you just pay them back? Pay these people back what you signed and what you agreed to. Why are you trying to you still trying to cut the same corners that you was trying to cut while you was in college? Like, so the thing is that I had to really come to a realization, like, you are not, I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, you're not listening to sound counsel. And you're not really a dude that I really want to be. Actually, I don't even want to know nothing about this case. I don't want to know nothing about because you might get me wrapped up in some stuff.
You want to cop this?
I was like, yeah, he's sending me screenshots and stuff. He like, yeah, I beat them this time because I told him I was sick or whatever and I couldn't come to the court case. I'm like, yo, you on some nutty stuff, dog. Like, I can't rock with you no more. So this is a educated brother, bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering and MBA and everything, still cutting corners, but still is dead weight in my life. And I just eventually had to cut him off, man. So, bro, that's my example.
Bro out here acting like a Nigerian exchange student, man.
That's wild. I'll give a couple of examples. For real. I'll give a couple of examples. So a lot of the people in our community, we have undiagnosed depression and we have an inferiority complex. So there's a lot of people who I had to literally stop telling my ideas on what I'm working on, even though they're really good people, even though they're people that are very helpful, but they have a negative outlook on success, right? And it's hard as hell to explain it and imagine, but I would tell them some stuff and I would feel bad afterwards because they would have some depressing ass fucking answer. So I have to stop telling them stuff. So a lot of times dead weight can have a good heart. And we have to know how much we can handle and how much negativity we can handle, especially if you are on the come up trying to conquer your own nonsense. You have to be so selective of who you tell your positive ideas to. It's crazy. It's damn near criminal. You got to keep these things to the chest and rock out. Another thing was I had to. So it's easier to get rid of dead weight as well when you add in more positive, uplifting, lightweight. So I'm a huge advocate of people leaving their hometowns, even for a little while. Even if you go back later in life after college, you do some study abroad stuff, you go work in Asia, whatever. Huge advocate. There's something, and I'm generalizing here, so bear with me, but there's something about mediocrity and averageness and not leaving the place where you grew up at. And I struggled with it myself. That's why I left New York. That's why I'm in Atlanta now, because my brain was going to a certain point, and I found myself maxing out. And I'm like, damn, like what the hell is it? But after a trip or while on a trip, I would literally feel my brain waves open up, and I was like, I need a new environment. I need new energy. I become stale. So if you find yourself stale, look at who you're talking to and look at your environment. Have you always been in the same environment? And that helped me out a lot.
Listen, you guys are hitting on so many dope points. Here's one that I wanted to hit you guys with, and I wanted you to I wanted to hear your perspective on it so the audience can hear it as well. You know, we all kind of think of ourselves as, accomplished brothers as well, right? One of the dead weights that I have seen throughout as I've continued to grow and as I've continued to accomplish, as I've continued to hit my next stage of life is the dead weight of coattailers, right? These are the people that want to be connected to you because now you're cooking, right? These are what was the Mike Jones song? Now I'm hot, they all on me. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to hear your guys' perspective because I have my own, but I want to hear it as well from you guys. Like, how have you dealt with in assessing kind of the realness of friendship as you have ascended, and as you're ascending, you're getting new people in and around you? Because I know for me, I would have a problem with letting my ego think that they're there for me versus for the success that's around me. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to open up the lines and hear what you guys had to say.
That's a good one. So people want to be around successful people, right? Like that's just the normality. And I don't have a problem with having people prove themselves or to offer something before I offer something out. So if you gotta take me out to lunch or buy a consultation or something, I'm okay with having a barrier of entry into my life. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. I'm fine with that. I can't take on everybody who wants to be my friend. And that does sound arrogant. I apologize about that, but I physically can't do it. I just can't do it. So I'm okay with having a barrier of entry for you to enter what I got going on. And that barrier of entry could be anything. It could be something that works for the both of us where it's a mutually beneficial friendship, which us as adults, we need to have mutually beneficial friendship. I mean, I'm 38 years old. How many clubs am I going to go to? Right? I need to have something going on that's going to be able to be where I'm winning, I'm helping you win, and you're helping me win. So that works for me.
Good I absolutely agree with that one. Oh yeah, Rich, you want to go next?
Yeah. Just because
go ahead,
just because it hits on the next it actually ties right into my next note. So I have the average black man has enough to worry about. He has no room or business trying to carry anyone else who should be manning their own battle station. What I mean by that is, if we are sincerely jockeying for power, right? And I think to a certain extent, all of us are, right? We're looking to empower ourselves. We're working towards our last names, not our first names, right? If you are not manning your battle station, bro, get the fuck away from me, bro. Like, get away from me, bro. And I say that with a sincere heart, meaning I am 100% going to own my piece of trying to help to empower us as black men across the board. If you are not doing the same thing, then we really don't have too much to talk about. You understand what I mean? And I know that sounds like an asshole statement, but it's when you think about where we are in society and a lot of the flack that we catch in society, right? We should really be jockeying for power just like every other group is, whether that be Latinos, whether that be black women, whether it be the LGBT community, whether it be Jewish folks, whatever the case may be. I am working on power. Make no mistake about it. And if you are not working on power, if you are not trying to do something to help foster this environment where all of us are kind of doing the same thing, and it may be in different sectors, right? It may be in different sectors, but at some point, I may have to spend some money with you, and I'm perfectly fine with it because I've done my part to make the money. Now it's my job to make sure I'm spending it with somebody who is of my ilk. I'm spending it with somebody who is gonna and then who's gonna take that money and spend it within that system too. And that person is gonna spend that money within that system too. If you're not doing that and you're busy trying to ride my coattails, man, I need you to get away from me. You understand? So that's how it kind of works in my mind. That's not something that I just outwardly walk around saying to people. It's this is what I'm doing. This is what my belief is. And if you're not on the same track, I get it. But I need you to kind of figure out where you belong, and then I need you to go there. Because what I'm trying to do here is something completely different. So that's kind of how I get a lot of the coattail riders out of the way. I can't help grow you in manufacturing or grow you in leadership because you want to be the guy in the parking lot with the 30-inch rims and his radio up loud, and as soon as you walk out of the building, you take off your shirt to show your chest tats or something. You know what I mean? I can't do that, bro. I can't help you do that. But I'm more subject to help a guy who may come in here and spend money, putting super chats and putting super chats into the chat. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it. So that's my 2 cents, brother.
Yeah. I got this one point,
Yeah.
and
So
I'm at the
here's
jump
the thing.
off. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Andre, I just got this one point. I'm at the jump off.
One point, if you don't mind. If we need to have standards for our friends the same way that we have standards for our potential wives and our wives. I gave all you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you was going with that. Okay. Yeah, I got this one point that I'm at to jump off. But yeah, definitely mediocre that particular thing. I think a lot of times in the I think relationships, I guess definitely for me, they've become a lot more fluid. It kind of reminds me because I watch a lot of mob movies or mob documentaries on like La Cosa Nostra and everything, and kind of one thing that allowed you to be associated or a friend of the mob is if they knew your background, if they knew where you came from, your neighborhood, and all these particular things. So your past associations and your history and your friends, all that contributed to you being associated or affiliated with that group of individuals. But I think I've experienced something different in my own personal friendships and everything, right? Because I don't look at past friendships as the most solid and the most valuable friendships in my life. And let me explain that a little bit. I think one thing about me is that over the years, well, let me start with this. Friends know you, or friends that you've grown up with know you for who you used to be, and a lot of times how you kind of come to be who you are. But a lot of times that image of you and friends and family, that image of who you are is really relegated to who you used to be, right? They grew up with you, they seen who you are. It's kind of like an image that's stuck, just like how your mom still sees you as a baby, or your dad still sees you as a little lad, a little guy, or whatever, right? A lot of times people can't see who you are beyond who you used to be. And a lot of friends who I grow up with see me still as like little Gabe. They used to call me, they used to call me little gay, right? Not like gay, like homosexual or anything, but like little gay, like a little fella, right? So, it's just interesting because who I used to be is not who I am. And sometimes for friends, it's really hard for them to see that. It's really hard to see that you've grown up, that you've accomplished, that you've went beyond a lot of times them. So they try to a lot of times keep you in that box of who they seen you as a kid. So a lot of times I look at friendships as fluid because I think that there needs to be some mutual benefit in that friendship and not just because they've known you in the past, right? Because O'Shea, right? Me and O'Shea met maybe what, like 3.5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
I had hit him up in the emails like, yo, I want to write for the Manosphere. He's like, nah, And I kept on hitting them up. So, until we started to develop a rapport. Now, I didn't
Right.
grow up with O'Shea, right? Me and O'Shea not even in the same generation, right? But I
Right.
think that we have a lot of mutual interest and talk about stuff offline too, as it concerns life. So
Mhm.
he's not somebody that I grew up with, but rather who I am now, who I've grown to be, greater
Mhm.
coordinates with O'Shea and his personality than a lot of friends I've grown up with. So I look at friendship as something that's fluid, and that a lot
Mhm.
of times friends who only see you as one thing can also be dead weight. Absolutely.
Wow, man,
And I
I
gotta
missed so much.
no
Yeah, I did.
spin. I
Okay,
gotta jump off
I'm
on
going.
that one, O'Shea. My bad.
Okay.
I gotta jump off.
No, no,
All
no,
right,
no,
see you
no, no,
guys
no,
later.
no, no. No, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna try to do it again tomorrow. I'm sorry that I dropped off Mass African internet, and I won't hold you guys too long. But I was listening to Brother Mediocre when he was talking about that marriage not being so beneficial. I was like, damn, and I was like, oh, and then the African man held me back, brother. So
Oh man, next time, brother, we can hit that topic next time.
okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Let me just do this real quick. Brother Wrench, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, sir, brother. No, sir. You go right ahead.
All right. And Wrench, again, man, you always kill it. You're very methodical. And I try to wing it and shit, but Wrench and Gabe, they are like, in microbiology, for organisms that have, I can remember, we certain or call them fastidious. So in Gabe and Wrench, they're both very, I don't know, Mr. Manufacturing this background. They're very
Yeah,
detail
man.
oriented,
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to say that I do enjoy these panels. I've been able to try to bring people to my platform and connect brothers behind the scenes that do similar things. And we had almost 350. So guys that's pretty good, right?
Oh yeah.
Stoke.
I mean, to get guys on a Saturday you can't go nowhere, no way, because I mean,
Them
where you
boys
niggas gonna go?
stuck.
I mean, where you niggas going? I mean, for real, where are you niggas going right now? I mean,
Thanks.
even if it wasn't coronavirus, you ain't got no bitches. So, I mean, it wasn't like these niggas. Come on, Rich, you knew these niggas wasn't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother, man. I think this is a brother. This is a brother from that's a brother.
Menzi.
That a brother in South Africa. Okay, Nkosi. That's either a Igbo name.
He's
Is
from
that him?
South Africa.
South Africa. Okay, I know it was either one of those. So I said South Africa first of all, and then so shout out to South. I was in Johannesburg in early March. It's one of my favorite cities, man. I don't know if you're from Joburg, but shout out to Midrand. Shout out to Midrand. So any last words, you guys? I want to go ahead and promote Brother Mediocre's channel. So guys, how many subscribers you get yesterday, brother?
Listen, I think yesterday, I can't remember. Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? But one of the two, I think it was like 50 to 60 subscribers just from coming over here and talking my ish. And just last thing I want to say too, and then I'll start talking about it. So and I didn't hit on this, I want to hit on this as well.
Okay.
If you guys feel like if you look in a room and you were the most successful in one person in that room, or if you're looking in that room and you see broken dreams, you see failures, you're in the wrong room. You got to get out that room. There's too much dead weight in that room. Okay. That's the last point that I just want to hit on real quick. But I just appreciate my time on this channel. O'Shea, you're doing amazing things over here, man. To know that like on a Saturday night, when these brothers can be doing so many other different things, they over here listening to us, listening to our experiences. Salute to the panelists. Well, they all did a fantastic job. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm almost at 11K subscribers over on my channel. So feel free to go over there and just see, what else of the content that I'm talking about. Now, I will say, O'Shea, when I was talking about the marriage thing, that's actually, I want to say like 50-ish%.
Oh yeah, I'll be seeing it.
Yeah, so we like to go in over there. We like to have discussion.
You should have Gabe come over there and debate. Gabe is he don't like. Oh yeah, Gabe was gonna be like. I remember Ramil was shout out to Ramil, right? Ramil was talking about people married. He said, "Man, I make more money than this nigga, man. Who are you talking about?" Like, All right, brother Wrench. If you give me a topic tomorrow at a time, man, we'll lead it off with the Wrench show tomorrow, man. So,
yeah, I got you covered, brother. I got you covered.
Okay. Any words, brother Wrench?
Yeah, so real simple, right? And I know a lot of us have probably heard this growing up. The easiest way to tell if somebody is really on your team is how they react when you tell them no, right? You know, so
Get it started now. Don't you start nothing.
Facts.
You know,
Don't you start nothing up in this thing.
You know, it's you know, even just based off y'all reaction, man, that's a really simple way to really tell if somebody rock with you. Their reaction when you tell them no. So that's something real simple that brothers can start applying today. You understand? So take that and run with it, and that's a very good starting point to kind of starting to thin the herd as it relates to the people that you have in your circle. Excellent point by Brother Mediocre too. When you look around and you start seeing, like he said, broken dreams and nothing but struggleness. You know what I mean? You probably need to go ahead and start forming some new friends. And then another thing, real quick, as I look around at my growth, what I've been doing over the last couple of years, I can count 1, 2, 3 of them are West Point grads. One of them is an Annapolis grad. I can count another one who was an artillery officer in the military who's actually a West Point grad. One that's a helicopter pilot. So all of these people, man, that have you know taught me all of these different things or gave me all of these tips and tidbits as far as how to be successful. They don't mix with some of the people I may have grew up with and love. You know what I mean? So that's my spiel, brother. And like I said, look forward to doing it again.
All right, and let me just do this. Shout out to brother Lionel, right? Let me do this. I'm trying to upload this video before, but they ain't gonna let me do it. I did a response video. But anyways, let me just say this, and I'm gonna shout out everybody. Thank you to, you know, like I said, one thing I do know when I have y'all on the panel, ain't no way I'm the smartest nigga in the room. I know that for a fact. So I feel vindicated because I know I might not be the dumbest, but I'm definitely not the smartest. So I know as long as I keep doing these Hall of Games and Kenyon Meadows and Glenn and Cameron, I'm like, yes. I'm at least successful in getting niggas that know more than me. So and one of the things I wanted to shout to my D Darrell. I call him my uncle. I told him I sent him the link. I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't able to try to get him on here too. He's in a healthcare industry. Thank you, brother Lionel, for being here. Also, Lionel, we're gonna definitely do something. Hopefully this week. He focuses on debt management. So if I can do one thing, what my main goal is, I focus on the hard stuff, and that is, you know, the black male spaces are very underserved. And, you know, for me being in this space, I try to get more creators to come into the space and create content for the brothers. A shout out to Ill Wills because he's helped me get some people for the Hall of Game. We had tech recruiters on here last month. We'll have Glendon Cameron on this week. Dr. Kenyon Meadows, MD, oncologist, and with the Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. We'll have him on. So I want more people to be in the space. We want to get more brothers into the business because the reason why is we don't have enough creators for the space. We have more subscribers than we have black content creators. Talking about Hassani Ali, who went to Central Michigan University with Antonio Brown. And I was trying to tell him we need more guys in the space. So we encourage you guys to come in the space, create, start somewhere, get into this sort of business because the like right now there's no shows going on right now for the brothers. There's nothing that's going on unless you want to. Are you going live tonight, Mediocre?
No, I'm probably gonna take another nap. I'm tired.
Yeah, okay. So guys, support the creators. Brother Mediocre, he's doing a really good job. He's a brother with an MBA from a top 50 school. Go subscribe to the brother. And again, you know, we want to keep putting our best people forward. When you guys see somebody on the Hall of Game, this is really a lot of what the best that Black America has to offer for Black men. You got guys on here. You'll see guys on here that have medical degrees just coming. You got guys on here that are millionaires. You have guys on here that are under 30, that are under 35, engineers, guys that are in, manufacturing, guys that are in trucking. You'll find everybody that's the top of what they do on this show. You can't even get on the show unless you're one of those people. All right. Shout out to Brother Ill Wills for hooking it up. So guys, thank you so much. Let me just shout out the super chats real quick. Any last words, Brother Mediocre, about what they can look for? You have a show coming up tomorrow or something like that, player? What's going on?
Yeah, I was gonna probably live stream like right after this, but I'm too tired now. I'm gonna go relax. So I'll probably tomorrow at some point live stream, you know what I'm saying, on my community post. And thank you to like the 15 or 20 people that I'm just looking at that just subscribe to my channel. My community posts are popping, by the way. So like what I do is I usually live stream regarding the community posts that I put up. So feel free to go up there, and participate in the discussion. You see what I'm saying? But O'Shea, like you doing something major over here, right? Like, and I don't want you to discount that as well. We all appreciate you. You see what I'm saying? Because as you said, far too often you don't see these types of talks in the media. You know what I mean? So it's like folks down into the chat, put a link to this chat in your group chats. You see what I'm saying? Like your younger brother, your nephews, put it into their group chats. Just so we can try to reach more people, because last time I was up here, one of the things that I said is that there's too many of us that can't dream about they can't see because they haven't, or they can't dream because they haven't actually seen. All they see is, I can play sports, right? Or what they see is I can sell drugs, or that's all that they can see. But when they start to see these different perspectives, right? And the fact that if I can do it with my mediocre, no pun intended, standardized test taking scores, right? If I can get a scholarship, a free tuition scholarship to go get an MBA, trust and believe you can do it. You see what I'm saying?
Let me just do this. There's some brothers asking for Mediocre's channel. So it's the link I'm posting right there. So if you see this link in the chat, so Don Dre, click on that link and then you subscribe, and then there's a notification bell. So Brother Dre, do that if you can. Another brother was asking for that. I'm trying to know how Mediocre has such a clear camera. That's Brother Lionel Young is asking that question.
Listen,
brother, cut to the chase. When you coming on here, nigga? Well, that's my bro right there. Go ahead, tell him how you got the clear camera, brother.
Listen, man, I got my camera. It's all, if you go to my channel and click on the about section, you're gonna see everything that's in my setup, from like my lighting. One of the hashtags that I promoted in the channel is hashtag progress over perfection. If you guys want to start this up, it's not about being your most perfect. It's just starting and then iterating.
Say it again. Brother Hassani, my brother Hassani, what did I tell you earlier? Say it again.
Listen, it's far too many people that get stuck in analysis paralysis. It's far too many people that get stuck in, I got to be perfect before I come out and do something. Even these companies, these Fortune 100 companies don't even do that anymore. They do much more of a prototyping or a test and learn method. They throw it out just a little bit, just enough to see how much of this minimally viable product makes sense in the market, and then they just iterate on top of that. So if you're thinking about doing stuff in your life like this from a creativity perspective, just start. Just throw it up there. Just get it started. Because I started like 3 years ago, and it wasn't until like a year ago that like people actually started to subscribe. You see what I'm saying? So it just takes time to find yourself. So just go out and do it. But if you guys have specific questions regarding the setup, it's essentially a 77D, a Canon 77D DSLR camera. The lens that I have on this, you'll see it all in the about section. But you can actually connect your DSLR camera directly into the computer to be able to live stream for it. So that's the secret. I mean, it really is no secret. I YouTubed everything to figure out how to.
Brother, I know Brother Ali. Shout out to Brother Ali. He's writes for the Negro Manosphere. He's a good brother, and he'll be coming into the space creating, and we're going to push him. A lot of the guys on the Negro Manosphere are now creating YouTube channels. And shout out to Brother Kevin Samuels. He dropped some good game on me today. Kevin Samuels is a tech whiz, and so he actually behind the scenes. A lot of the good thing about being a creator is we talk, right? All the creators, and we give you the ideas and tips, and that's how we're able to stay ahead. So thank you, Brother Kevin Samuels, for you were able to call me today, and I appreciate you. I appreciate my brother Rence Turner. He will be leading off with his topic tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I will be doing some niggathons. Now we'll get the nice shit out the way.
Happy birthday,
but tomorrow we're gonna do some ghetto shit. Thank you, brother Chris. And any more subscribers coming in there, brother?
Let me just check. Absolutely. Yeah, it's almost at 11K, not 10,982. Remember the first time that I came on here, bro, I wasn't even at 10,000 yet. You see what I'm saying? I was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Let's do this. Let's help the brother get we need only 18 more subscribers. Countdown. Let's see if we can take the brother to 11,000. He's nice enough to come over and he don't have to do it. He already doing good. He already made enough money. He ain't got to be over here dealing with my broke ass. But can we do this? Let's get 18 people to subscribe, hit the bell to his channel. That will take him to 11,000. So I just need 18 people that are not subscribed to this channel, which is, we're going to put it in here, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. If you can't follow the link in the chat, what you can do is, if you can read and write, well, I mean, not say that because some of y'all can't do that, but I mean, it is true. Some of y'all niggas. Okay, so if you can't find that, what you can do is thank you for subbing, right? You can go to his channel. Thank you. You can go to his YouTube channel, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, and you can search it and then subscribe, the red button, hit the bell for notifications. But I would like to take him to 11,000. How many more we got, Mediocre?
I just had an extra 4, so 10,987, which is crazy. So
okay,
everybody that's coming
13, over. 13. Can we get 13 from you, Negroes? It's free. Jesus paid it all on the cross. So you ain't got to pay no money. You ain't got to, give me none of your stimulus check. Thank you, Brother Linnell.
It just jumped up by like 10. Salute everyone that's coming over. 5 more.
5 more. Thank you, Brother Fawcett Media Group. All right. So if you're watching, you can go to do that. Mediocre's Tutorials and Reviews. Subscribe, hit the bell. Let's go. Support the brother. Thank you so much. Do we got any updates?
Sitting right there. 10,995. I appreciate
5 more.
That came over.
5. Damn. I know you know it's a nigga. I'm not subscribing to shit. Fuck that nigga. I would subscribe if you wasn't on O'Shea channel, but O'Shea's a bitch. Fuck that nigga, man. I'll subscribe tomorrow and shit when you off that nigga channel. Thank you, Brother A-Lion, for subscribing. We just need 4 more.
No, we need 1 more now.
1 more. Let me unsubscribe so we can have 2. Ain't that some nigga shit a nigga would do? Yeah, you need 2. You need 1 more, huh? I got you, motherfucker. So 1 more. Thank you, Brother Omega. Just 1 more subscriber. Hit the bell on this channel. You go to this channel right there. It's a telethon. It's a telethon for free shit. We ain't even asking niggas for no money.
Boom, we there. 11,002 subscribers.
Nice. All right. Sheesh. Thank you, man. Thank you, brothers, right. Man. How many we get today?
Listen, today it probably was like 40 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about 40. O'Shea, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother. I thank you for coming over and helping us out, man. Keep subscribing. Let me just do this real quick, man. I just want to shout out to Super Chat. Thank you, Brother Carter on Chris, Brother Aunt James Sandman. Thank you, Brother Gabe A, Demetrius Parham, Savant, Bill Gates, Teddy Brewski, Al, Sheldon, Saving Money is Dead. Thank you, Brother Lionel, Tony D, Glowing, The Man in the Black. Thank you, Bill Gates, Sam S, Asagi, Tangeray, Kenny Kondo, Joshua Landrum, Boogie Talks, Tangeray again, Brandon Nichols. Thank you, D Anderson, Mediocre, Yoda Darnell, Andre Hatchett, Jason Dykes, Grown Man Business, the VEJ, Antoine Wade, Keep It Techie, and Nisham Basharia. Thank you guys for supporting Black Men. We're trying to really do this. I've been committed to doing this show daily. Thank you, Brother Atlas. It jumped up again, Brother Mediocre.
Hold on, let me check. I was over here celebrating. 11,006. Sheesh.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic.
All right. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, brother Rance Turner, man, for you know all that you do. And
Yes,
I know that you're a very busy brother, but you come over here and talk to these niggas. It's a thankless task, but somebody has to do it. Might as
Hey,
well be you.
You know, a funny thing, man, I just noticed 3 out of the 5 members on the panel, man, all our birthday was this month. So mine was on Easter. I think brother Hatchet said his was on the 15th, and then I think he said yours is tomorrow. So all the Aries, man, it's that's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, that's probably so smart because you know we was born in his month. That's why, and it explains why the rest of you niggas in the other 11 months was done. But now I'll just fuck with you. But guys, thank you again. You know, I'm hopefully to have some videos uploaded. Thank you, brother Ill Wills, brother Lionel. Hit me on the email. I know you emailed me, and I was trying to email you back, but I don't know. I fucked around, did something. But brother, we'll try to do something tomorrow. Thank you again, brothers. I'll salute you, brothers. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely,
Peace.
absolutely. Y'all be cool,
Peace.
man.
Peace, brothers.
Peace.